Welcome to One Step Past, and this is way past strange. The Hellhounds of Dartmoor. They are bigger than any other dogs on earth. They have black, matted fur, glowing red eyes, and extremely large yellow teeth. In some accounts, they breathe fire. Their howling is exceptionally loud and like nothing else you've ever heard. These are the Hellhounds of Dartmoor. Their legend goes all the way back to who knows when. What are they and where do they come from? What is their purpose? Are they hungry for human flesh? Do they seek unbaptized infants and sinners? There have been so many stories about the Hellhounds that it's hard to separate myth from fact. What we do know is that people still claim to see them today. They also served as inspiration for the Sherlock Holmes novel, The Hound of the Baskervilles. We're going to look at the hounds from all angles, past and present. Where is Dartmoor? Dartmoor is located in the southern part of Devon, a county in southwest England. It's moorland, and moors are generally hilly areas with low-growing vegetation. There's a lot of rainfall, but the soil is too acidic for anything to grow too big or too tall. There's some farming in the area, but not much. Animals like cows, sheep, and the world-famous Dartmoor ponies have been raised for centuries. The land is also native to many kinds of birds, insects, small mammals, reptiles, and fish. Some of these species are quite rare. There are a lot of bats. In addition, the UK's only venomous snake, the adder, resides in Dartmoor. This moor gets its name from the River Dart, one of the many rivers in the area. The water from these rivers is used for drinking as well as tin mining and quarrying. Since it is highland, there is a lot of strong wind on a regular basis. The biggest thing Dartmoor has going for it is granite. As a matter of fact, Dartmoor has the largest area of granite in Britain. The Hellhounds. Several names have been applied to these creatures. To make things simple, we'll just call them Hellhounds. People in Dartmoor have claimed to see them for centuries, but what is truth and what is storytelling? Do the Hellhounds operate individually, in packs, or do they serve a master? Do they have more than one master? We'll take a look at 4 individuals suspected of leading the evil hounds. An evil spirit, a jolly hunter, a national hero, and an evil squire. Old Crockern. Who or what is Old Crockern? His legend goes way, way back to pre-Christian times. Could the Hellhounds of Dartmoor have their origins from the ancient Druids? It's believed that Old Crockern is a spirit who travels with a phantom pack of hunting dogs. Depending on the source, this ghostly huntsman rides a black horse or a skeleton horse. He makes his home at what is now called Crockern Tor. When he isn't hunting, he has his hellhound stabled at nearby Wisman's Woods. It's doubtful this spirit ever refers to himself as Old Crockern. That's a name people assign to him. Some people speculate that Old Crockern could be the devil himself. Stories about Old Crockern have been inconsistent to say the least. One common theme is that Old Crockern and his hellhounds appear, raise their mayhem, then suddenly disappear. It's believed this happens because they are afraid to cross the River Dart. Bowerman and his hounds. Another interesting early story is about a hunter named Bowerman, the only name we have for him, and his hounds. Allegedly, this would have happened sometime during the reign of William the Conqueror, the first Norman king of England from 1066 to 1087. Bowerman was big, tall, and strong. He was also a very nice guy and well liked by the community. Bowerman had the best pack of hunting dogs in the land. While in the moor, they came across a group of witches in the middle of a magic ritual. It wasn't so much that he interrupted the witches, but that his dogs knocked over the cauldron they had standing in a fire pit. The witches had to start their ritual all over again. taking care of business and working overtime. This wasn't going to stand. Bowerman had to pay. One of the witches sold her soul to the devil to turn herself into a white hare. Sometime later, the witch turned hare got Bowerman and his hounds to chase her to the top of a hill on Hayne Down. It was then that Bowerman and the dogs were caught in a witch ambush. The witches exacted their revenge by turning Bowerman and his hounds into stone. We can only imagine that magic was flying from their fingertips like lightning from all directions. Poor Bowerman didn't have a chance. This was extreme, but there was also some built-up hostility. Bowerman had been talking trash about witches for years, and they knew it. The area where Bowerman's hounds were turned into stone is now called Hound Tor. A tor is a large rock outcropping that appears on otherwise smooth land. Although some people think the tor resembles hounds, some people think it just looks like rocks. Today it's a popular tourist attraction and well liked by rock climbers. About a mile from Hound Tor is a formation that's a bit more distinctive, Bowerman's Nose. This is supposed to be where Bowerman himself now resides as a stack of granite. When you look at Bowerman's nose from the side, it certainly looks like a side profile of a man's head with a pronounced nose and jaw. It's believed that Bowerman and his hounds occasionally appear in spectral form from their rock formations and go hunting. It's also said that you can still hear the hounds howling in the wind. Being eternally doomed for knocking over a cauldron seems cruel and unusual punishment, but witches in the old days didn't play. Sir Francis Drake and Buckland Abbey. When it comes to England's heroes, they don't get bigger than Sir Francis Drake. He had many accomplishments to be proud of as an explorer, sea captain, and politician. When Drake died in 1596, however, it is believed that his spirit was not a happy one. To this day, some people are certain that Drake haunts his home of Buckland Abbey in Yelverton, which is very near Dartmoor. Rumor has it that Drake made a pact with the devil, and that's how he was able to defeat the Spanish Armada. Many locals feared him because they thought he had supernatural powers. Drake died of painful dysentery at the age of 55. He was buried at sea outside of Panama, and divers still look for his coffin. The legend of Drake's ghost is really intriguing. He rides across the Dartmoor area in a black coach driven by headless horses. Ahead of Drake's coach is a dozen chattering goblins. Behind the coach is a pack of barking hellhounds. Any dog that hears the barking of these hellhounds dies instantly. If any of this is true, it makes us think that Sir Francis Drake is not the great guy history takes him to be. Dirty Dick. Almost a century after the death of Sir Francis Drake came the ghostly legend of Squire Richard Cable. He lived for hunting. It was his great passion. While not all hunters are evil killers, it is surmised that Cable liked hunting purely for the killing. This man was so wicked that he has been nicknamed Dirty Dick. The squire was an incredibly evil person who was highly immoral, sold his soul to the devil, and was rumored to have murdered his wife. When Dirty Dick died in 1677, a phantom pack of hounds came to howl at his grave. From that night on, the ghost of the squire would be seen leading the hellhounds across the moor, usually on the anniversary of his death. The hounds would breathe fire. If the hounds were not hunting, they would be seen prowling around his grave, howling and shrieking. The villagers lived in fear of the fire-breathing hounds and the squire's ghost. They built a large building around his tomb. As an extra measure, they placed a huge slab over the top of his grave. The Cable Mausoleum still exists. There are also other stories concerning the ghost of Dirty Dick. Why does Dirty Dick do these things? Because that's what Dirty Dick does. The skeptical side of things. Not everyone believes in the hellhounds and the stories of their masters. A number of more earthly explanations have been supplied over the years. Some people believe the Hellhounds are the products of drunken hallucinations. In some cases, people were found brutally killed. The Hellhounds took the blame, but other people think it's a cover-up for murder. If this explanation is to be believed, then did Dartmoor have serial killers way back then? Another explanation given is that when Dartmoor Prison opened in 1809, tales of the Hellhounds were concocted to keep the prisoners from wanting to escape. The Hound of the Baskervilles. The folklore of the Hellhounds of Dartmoor is what inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to write his Sherlock Holmes classic, The Hound of the Baskervilles. It was 1901, and Doyle was not a native of Devon County. He had a friend named Bertram Fletcher Robinson, who came from the area and told him these fantastic spook-out stories. Doyle thought these stories were so cool that he could build an amazing mystery story around it. In the Sherlock Holmes story, however, it's revealed that the Hound is a hoax. The success of the book is what brought outside awareness of Dartmoor's infamous Hellhounds. The 1939 film, starring Basil Rathbone, is given a lot of credit in opening up Dartmoor and the Hellhounds legend to the whole world. It's also just a really good movie. Dartmoor today. Dartmoor has been cleaned up since the days of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It has become a popular tourist destination. Although you don't have to fear for your life at every turn, Hellhound sightings have not entirely disappeared. Large hound footprints have been found and photographed, and people still claim to see the beasts. One of the more interesting developments is a photo that was taken in July 2007. It's surprisingly clear, but what is the animal we see in the photo? It was taken at Hound Tor by a falconer named Martin Whitley. Other witnesses to the creature included a group of school children and some other spectators. Whitley said the creature was about 200 yards away from him. It looked to be the size of a miniature pony, but it most certainly wasn't a pony. Whatever it was, hellhound or otherwise, it had absolutely no fear of people. A group of rock climbers on the other side of the creature tried to catch its attention by making a lot of noise, but the animal ignored them completely. Did the hellhounds ever exist? If they were real, are they still around today? Fact or fiction, you'll have to admit the Hellhounds of Dartmoor are way, way past strange.